everyone. I'm Colleen.
And Cindy here.
Thanks for joining us for episode 14 of Earth's History Explained by a Light Being. Once again, we're going to be joined by our recurring guest, the light being who, once incarnated as Pele, has been joining us to share amazing messages about Earth's history and also about what's coming in Earth's future. And I can't wait to hear what we're going to talk about today and get the message. So I'll pass things over to you, Cindy.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, I'm curious too what she's going to be talking about. Now, I know that people have been asking in the comments, will Pele be talking to us once she's conceived and all of this? And she hasn't addressed that, but she has told Colleen and I just recently that we're nearing the end. I'm not sure if we talked about that in another one of these episodes, but yeah, she said there's not much left for her to say, but so we're getting close.
Yeah, so we did ask her in a past episode whether she would still be communicating, and she said basically that was TBD, to be determined. But yeah, no, we haven't talked about the fact that she told us before the last one and before this one that that there are only a few messages left.
Yeah. Okay, so I've lit my candle to set the energy and call in my angels. And as always, I ask you to use your own discernment. Take what you like from these messages and leave the rest. All right. Let's dive in and see what she has to say today. Okay, so the pendulum is still. That tells me my angels have stepped aside and someone else is here. This is Pele. And I have some new and exciting information for you today. This information is a karmic cycle related piece of information. In other words, this information will explain about a particular karmic cycle and how this karmic cycle is coming to a completion point. This karmic cycle is the cycle that Jesus began when Jesus incarnated as Jesus. This karmic cycle is a cycle that has been around since the time of Jesus, and it is about to come to completion. The cycle that began with Jesus's birth and the initial opening of this portal of love for Jesus's birth is a cycle of energy that is important to Earth's history. So Jesus began this karmic cycle, and he is involved in the completion of this karmic cycle. The Jesus soul is involved in the birth process of myself through this portal of love. The Jesus soul is helping to open this portal of love and prepare this portal of love for my birth. So Mother Mary did this when Jesus was born. And Jesus is doing this in preparation for my birth. And this will complete the karmic cycle that began with Jesus's birth. This karmic cycle is all about anchoring this energy here on earth. So Mother Mary and Jesus anchored this energy for Jesus to be born through this portal of love. And now the Jesus soul and the Pele soul, myself, are anchoring this energy in order for this portal of love to remain open. There is another layer to this story. There is an entire history of energy that has gone into making this all possible. This karmic cycle is not just a cycle that these souls have been involved in. This karmic cycle involves everyone on earth. And everyone on earth is feeling this karmic cycle as it is coming to a close. When this karma is completed and this cycle is closed, everyone on earth will experience a shift in regards to this karmic cycle. Now, this will affect some religions, and they will shift their beliefs tremendously with the completion of this karmic cycle. However, other religions have become more strongly attached to this karmic cycle, and they created a new karmic arm from this karma, and that karmic arm will continue. So this is a complex and intricate karmic cycle. There will be a closure of some of this energy, of most of this energy. And there will be a few karmic arms that will remain. regardless of these karmic arms, there will be a huge shift in the spiritual and religious aspects of energy on Earth. This cycle will not end immediately with my birth. However, it will be completed shortly after my birth. Once I am born through this portal of love, and this portal of love is anchored fully within Earth's energy, that is when this karmic cycle will be completed. And everyone on Earth will feel a shift in the spiritual and religious aspects of Earth's energy. Okay. Well, that's very interesting. And
Yeah.
that makes me think about, like, all the wars and everything else that have been started in the name of religion and how that will affect things. Now, those things may still exist because she said there are a few
These
arms,
arms, yeah.
but still, like, that's a huge shift in that, because that's, yeah, I mean, I guess it's not really when religion started, because religion was around before that, but it's a big aspect of it, I think.
Well, yeah, because Christianity is one of the, I think, largest in the world, right? But she didn't say, like, I want to know the whole time. I'm going like, but what is the karmic cycle that's coming to completion?
Yeah, and we'll ask her for some clarity, but what was coming to me once she said, because at first I thought it was between the people, and then when she broadened it and said, no, it's everybody is sort of involved in this, it made me think more about it being about this portal of energy being opened. And not like that's what the karma was. The karma was, we're going to create this so that we can open this portal of energy. And so it's going to open here for a little bit, and then we're going to open it here, and it's going to stay open. And that's
the piece of the plan, like on the whole idea that karma is a plan.
yes.
Okay.
Like that this, what we're doing now is completing something that was began 2,000 years ago. It was always meant to be this whole thing.
Yep. I get it now. So she did, maybe she did say what it is. This karmic cycle is all about anchoring this energy here on Earth. You're right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. Let's
See what
see
she
what
has to
she has
add.
say. This is a deeper story than you currently understand. This is a karmic cycle about a portal of love being anchored permanently on Earth. And it is so much more than just that. This karmic cycle involves every person on Earth, because this portal of love affects every person on Earth. So this gets complicated because the supporting souls on Earth now were not on Earth when Jesus walked as Jesus. So they are not involved in this karmic cycle. However, every original soul to this incarnation of Earth is involved in this karmic cycle. And that is a lot of people. So this karmic cycle will affect a tremendous amount of Earth's population. This karmic cycle will have a profound effect on the lives of every original soul to this incarnation of Earth. This will be something that is felt even by those who are hope challenged. They will feel this shift, and they will have an opportunity to begin to shift their own lives or remain willfully blind for now. So the energy that will come to Earth with the completion of this karmic cycle is more powerful than you understand. You will understand this more as you begin to clear your own karma and feel the love energy rush in to replace the karmic energy within your love energy body. When you begin to experience this, you will begin to understand what may be happening when this worldwide karmic cycle is completed. The karmic energies will leave, and they will instantly be replaced by the love energy from this portal of love. And this will happen in an instant at some point after my birth. This will be a whoosh moment for most of the population of Earth. Almost lost my pendulum there.
Getting all excited.
Yeah, like
Worldwide whoosh moment.
yes.
That's pretty cool. As she was leading into that, I got that that's what she was saying, because if that's what I mean, I have felt it a little bit when I have cleared some karma and then felt not a whoosh. I just mean the love energy coming in, you know what I mean? Filling the spaces or whatever. And see what I'm doing?
Yes.
The uplifting of the love energy coming in. Like, imagine that, like this huge karmic thing gets completed, and like everybody gets that inrushing all at the same time.
Exactly. Like, I don't think it's the same as like your final whoosh moment when all of your karma is cleared, but it's definitely like she's alluding to and saying that this karmic cycle is huge and powerful because it's something that's been affecting all of the original souls on Earth for 2,000 years. So when that clears out of us, in a moment when that cycle gets closed, like that's
big
wild.
rush of love energy comes in.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's what do how do I want to say that? Individual karma and collective karma.
Yes.
And this is a collective karma
Yes.
incident. Clearing incident, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like all the original souls, that's a lot of people. Based versus the first wave of light workers that are going to be experiencing the mass awakening, right?
Mhm.
I think that's a much relatively small number compared to all the original souls having a simultaneous whoosh moment. That's really cool.
Now, there have been some questions in the comments about the original souls and ask. There are all of these questions around the 144,000 thing ever since whatever episode we did that had the title in 144,000, and people have asked if there are 144,000 original souls, but that's not what I got. I got that there were a lot more original souls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't
my
really remember.
my understanding of as of this moment is that they've said the 144,000, that number is not correct, and the number doesn't matter. But they use that number, so it must mean, to me anyway, as I understand it, is that that number has come from what this group is. So they're saying that the 144,000 is the group of souls that was involved in all three incarnations of Earth. They're the souls that came to the first one failed. A bunch of souls left because they're like, yeah, sorry, this was a great idea, but it's not going to work. And they left. So the souls that stayed went to the second one. And then they lost a few more after that one, more than a few, because now it's failed twice, right? So they're like, okay, sorry, but I have other things to do. And so the souls, those original souls that have been through all three incarnations, those are the souls they refer to as the 144,000. And those are both high level and new souls. And that's all it is. It's high level is just how they describe older souls who have more experience. So that's 144,000. They're old souls and newer souls. But then what they learned was that they needed more high level souls. They needed more old souls to make this work, because they had to get everybody, all the experienced souls, focusing on trying to get this ability to retain your conscious awareness of the other side.
Right.
So they went on a recruiting mission and recruited all kinds of high level souls for this third incarnation of Earth. And so then that all became the original souls to this incarnation of Earth, made up 144,000 plus all these high level souls that were recruited. So now you have the original souls to this incarnation of Earth, and they're the souls that are all involved in this karma. So that's a lot of souls. Now they've also been talking about the spiritual love era, and this has now come up a couple of times in private readings for me too. So I've learned a little bit more about that. So of those original souls, which is the 144,000, which is older and newer souls, and the high level souls that were recruited, they sort of, when they came into this third incarnation of Earth, they kind of split at the beginning, because the newer souls, they got right into their karma right away and started accumulating karma, and life has been challenging for them since the very beginning. But the high level souls, which some of them are the 144,000 and some of them were recruited, the high level souls got together and they lived through what the angels are calling the spiritual love era, because they just, by essence of being an experienced high level soul, they had more love energy in their bodies because their souls were more powerful, more experienced. So they had a different experience of life on Earth than a newer soul who didn't have that kind of intensity to their love energy bodies. And they focused on putting in the hope grid, and focused on attaining all kinds of spiritual abilities so that they could help now. So since the very, very beginning of Earth, of humanity on Earth, we've been planning for this awakening experience. So it was at that beginning when we had our highest, most spiritual times. And then even the higher level souls ended up accumulating karma and descending into the karmic experiences. They had a long period of time where they were able to establish a whole bunch of spirituality and anchor a whole bunch of love energy into the earth and develop all these spiritual gifts that are now coming back to them. Now that Earth's energy supports all of that and we're coming out of this, we're going to be picking up these gifts again and now helping everybody, because also in that era is where at some point, and they haven't explained this yet, but at some point in that era, I'm assuming because that was the highest spiritual era that I know about as of yet, we developed this ability to retain conscious awareness. And so we knew that it was a success, and so we went into the karma, and now we're coming out of that, and all the higher level souls are awakening first, and we're bringing everybody with us, and we're all going.
Ever cool. Wow.
Yeah.
You got a lot from other readings and stuff. That's neat.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's been very informative.
So in answer to people asking about 144,000 too, though, what I kind of got in there, you know how they talk in, now I was going to say cryptic, but not really. Anyway, you know how they just keep layering on information and all that, like metaphors sometimes and all kinds of things.
Yep.
I wonder if 144,000 is even a count, or if it's more like a name.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
What they've said to me is the number is not correct. It's not 144,000, and it's not important. But somewhere along the line, that message came through and it got attached to that number. But usually, most often, when they talk about something, they don't even use the words that are out there in the spiritual community because they don't want to confuse things. And so they use completely different things. You know, like I've had people ask me, well, are half souls the same as twin flames?
Yes.
My angels never use the word twin flame, ever.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to, there's so much baggage associated with what people think that is, that they can steer away from it. And then the same thing with all the alien stuff, like they've stayed away from it. But this one, they talk about, like they brought in the idea of the 144,000.
In this series.
Yeah, so it makes me think that, like, obviously there's a reason why they're retaining that, and they want to create a connection to what that group actually is. It's like, yes, this was a real thing, this is a real thing, and this is what it is. It's these souls who stayed through all 3 incarnations of Earth.
Got it.
But it somehow got turned into a number of...
Yes. Yeah, I get it. It's just, it addresses a lot of comments that have come in about all that.
And there is a specialness to the people, and there is a, like, to the souls that stayed throughout all of that. And from what I can gather through personal readings too, when I've come across someone who's in that group, and it doesn't necessarily mean if you haven't been told you're part of that group, doesn't mean you're not part of that group, but just some people, they will give that information, and other people they give other information to. But there is like a special bond between them. They've been through all 3, right? So there is a special bond that was created in those experiences.
Right, right, cool. Back to what she was talking about, though, we were on whoosh moment for most of the population. I just
well, that whole original group of souls.
Yeah.
This incarnation.
So cool. Once again, hope I'm not driving when that happens.
It'll be, well, and they say simultaneous, but they have told me, like, with everything, they've always said, you know, simultaneous, just like soon, just like angelic soon is not the same as our soon. I think angelic simultaneous.
Yes. Is like, yeah, in an eon would be all at the same time for them.
Well, hopefully it's a little shorter.
And there's also is no time, right? So they got to give us words that have to do with time, and there is no time.
Yes.
Anyway, let's see what else she has to say.
Yes. This is Pele. We have a few more things to add to this story. You did a great job summarizing, Cindy. You have a very good understanding of the history as we have explained it so far. Now, I'm going to add another layer. This layer will explain when this ability to retain conscious awareness of this side of awareness was attained. This was indeed attained during the spiritual love era. And this is when we understood that this incarnation of Earth was a huge success. This is when we understood that this incarnation of Earth was the last incarnation of Earth. This had a huge impact on the spiritual love era at that time. So the spiritual love era lasted a very long time at the beginning of humanity on Earth. This time was a primitive time in many ways, and also a very advanced time spiritually. So this spiritual advancement allowed for some incredible and magical creations on Earth. Once we had attained this ability to retain conscious awareness of this side of awareness, the creations on Earth became magical in a whole new way. There are many, many wonder-filled civilizations that lived on Earth during this time when people had some access to this side of awareness and retained the conscious awareness of that access. Now, this access was only attainable by a few souls on Earth. However, these souls had a lot of lifetimes in order to practice and hone this gift. So this spiritual love era lasted a long time, much longer than you realize. Okay, just taking a break. Okay, so yeah, because then I started thinking about the pyramids. Like, when were the pyramids made?
Sorry. Wrong girl.
We
We're
need a
gonna
historian.
out my lack of historical knowledge now.
Sorry to out you, but
Let's
I
do
outed myself at the
geography
same
next.
time.
History and geography, no.
Yeah, grade 9. That's my
Yeah. When did you have to take it? Okay.
exactly.
In the comments, when were the pyramids built?
Well, anyway, regardless of when, it's certainly closer to now than I thought the spiritual love era would have been. And for some reason, that's the thought that came into my mind, was that the pyramids, like all those magical things, Stonehenge, all those incredible things.
That we're going, how did they do that?
Exactly.
It's like, well, they brought it over from the other side of awareness. That's how they
We're
did it.
created, exactly. We're created during the spiritual love era. And so that's what she keeps trying to say. It was longer than you think. It was longer than you think. But it seems like there were basically like two worlds the whole time. There was the newer souls that were in their karma, and then there was this spiritual love era that apparently went for a really long time.
Wow.
Where they created these magical things and parts of civilization. And yeah, so
there are many wonder-filled civilizations that lived on Earth. Like, what?
Fascinating to think about.
What wonder-filled civilizations?
Well, exactly. Yes. Okay. Well, let's go back and see what else she has to say. Okay, this is Pele. So yes, you are getting it. The spiritual love era lasted a long time, and it still is in effect to some degree today. This group of high-level souls has a different experience of Earth than the newer souls that were not part of the spiritual love era. So this has indeed created a dual experience of Earth since the beginning of humanity on Earth. And these wonder-filled civilizations were dual experiences as well. There were people who had access to this side of awareness during these civilizations, and then there were people who lived their lives karmically and had no idea of anything on this side of awareness. This is the case today, although much more muted than it has been in the past. The karmic cycles have been building, and the high-level souls that were part of the spiritual love era are also experiencing a tremendous amount of karma in this time on Earth. However, it is also these souls that will be awakening first, and they will be activating their gifts and helping others to awaken. This was always the plan. Okay. Wow. That just changes my whole perspective. Like this, that this spiritual love era is essentially still happening
Still going
now,
on.
except that it's more muted. Like, wow.
Yeah, like I totally had this picture of something going on in like, I don't know what, primitive times or
Yes.
caveman days. Yeah, and these two different like experiences have been going on.
Since the beginning of humanity. So fascinating. Okay, I feel like she has more to say, so we're just going to dive right back in. I have one last thing to explain, and this is where Atlantis falls in all of this. So Atlantis was an experiment within an experiment, and it was a life that many people who are high-level souls did indeed experience. This was to test the energy on Earth and see if it could indeed hold the high-level energies needed in order for Mother Earth to have a great awakening moment and for Earth to be able to evolve into the love energy planet that it is destined to become. So Atlantis occurred during this spiritual love era. However, not every high-level soul became part of the Atlantis experiment. The vast majority had at least one lifetime within the Atlantis experiment, but not everyone. This is for a reason. This reason is simple. The Atlantis experiment was a closed experiment, and this energy did not intermingle with the Earth experiment in any way. So many high-level souls wanted to experience this love energy on Earth, and others were content to continue with their Earth experiences. There is no benefit that was attained or lost by being part of the Atlantis experience or not. This was simply an experience to be had or not. This was an individual choice. Now, the importance of the Atlantis experiment is that we learned early on that Earth can indeed handle the love energy required to move Earth forward on her evolution. This Atlantis experiment happened a long time ago in Earth's history, well before the end of the spiritual love era. So I said that the spiritual love era is still ongoing to some degree. However, it all but ended a long time ago. This all happened before the karmic cycle that Jesus began 2,000 years ago. So this karmic cycle that Jesus began 2,000 years ago is a karmic cycle that was embarked upon after the end of the spiritual love era. This was a new cycle of Earth's history. This was a new era on Earth, the Jesus era. And this era is about to come to a close. The next era on Earth is the era of personal enlightenment. And with that, she is done. Very cool.
Way to bring it around and wrap it up, Pele.
I know.
I just love how she does that. Like we go all over the place and we take it over to 144,000 and then over back we go. And then we're talking about the spiritual love area. And so she was like, yes, it is kind of still ongoing. And then she was like, no, it's not. And so while I'm typing, part of me is going, what? But by the end, she just wraps it all around. I love it. So I guess like we have such finite ideas of like an era, that there's going to be like this, and then this one day, like it ended, and it's not, we're talking about an era here.
Yes,
So
exactly.
it phased out while the other one's phasing in, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, and then the Jesus era, and that's like
And
to say we're
so,
going to look back at it as the Jesus era.
yes,
Wow.
like how cool is that? And that explains too the spirituality and the religions changing with the closing of the Jesus era, like with the closing of that karmic cycle. And
Right?
but like you say, it's not going to happen overnight, but we will be able to look back and go, yeah, so that period of time, that was the Jesus era. And then we moved into the era of personal enlightenment. And this is what I love because I do get some comments from people who I don't know if they just watch 5 minutes of one of the videos
I know.
or what.
I know. And that's fine
And
if that's what you want to do. But
and they're but they're like, this isn't because they think that I'm saying that, or the messages are saying that Pele's birth is another Jesus, like that we're
yeah, no,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
not what this is about at all. Like if you listen to the messages, it's very empowering. It's not about we're all going to be now bowing down to Pele. Like, no.
No, but
she's
it's
she's ending that era. So that's incredible. Okay, I just got that.
well, that's what I just got. She's closing it. Like it's like a
Yes.
concert with the opening act and the closing act, like and they come or maybe
Yes.
closing a sale, closing a deal, closing up a project. Like she's coming in, there we are, closing up a project. Like Jesus started this project when he was born. Well, Mother Mary did really
Yeah.
started this project, you know what I mean? And yeah, she's coming in to just close it down and move it into the next era of personal enlightenment, because that obviously is going to be an era too, because we know that it's not that the entire world is going to awaken at the same time.
No. And then
Even the mass awakening. Sorry.
even once we all do, because she said within a matter of a few decades, and that is
Sure.
malleable, um, everyone will be awakened, but we're still going to be in this era of personal enlightenment. Like it's still, we're going to be living and growing as people and souls in that era for a long time.
Well,
And
yeah, because I
that's
don't think
maybe that's the whole era of the age of Aquarius, which is 1,000 years long.
right. Yeah, because when I have my great awakening, it's not like I'm going to understand like I'm still going to be learning then of what I do with
Yes.
how I walk this walk now, and it's a whole era of personal enlightenment, like the era where basically everybody got down with what everything really is, like, and learned how to work it. And then I'm going back to like, I can't remember the terminology, the whole thing where then this is going to be a museum of sorts, like for
Yep.
for beings to come and experience. I don't know what episode,
Yeah.
the holodeck episode,
Yeah.
where they come in and can live bits of people's lives and stuff like that. Anyway, interesting, like because then in that history that they're watching go by, there's the spiritual love era, and then the Jesus era, and then the era of personal enlightenment. Like I bet a whole bunch of them are going to be like, I would like to visit the era of personal enlightenment, please.
Well, actually, according to the angels, what they want is that
Oh yeah,
experience of what we've got right
yeah.
now, which I know is hard for us to believe.
They
But
want to see
that's
the
what
hard
they
stuff.
want. Yeah.
They are living the
Because
easy.
they are living the era of spiritual personal enlightenment. That's what a soul is.
You're right.
So yeah, they want to be down and
You're
dirty
right.
experiencing the mud.
I was thinking of it from what I would want to
Yes.
experience, like I'll take one personal enlightenment, please.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, ever cool.
Lovely. Absolutely lovely.
Yes, I love it.
Thank you, Pele.
Thank you, Pele. She was done, right?
Yep, she was done.
Okay, cool. Well, we're going to say goodbye, and then we're going to do our energy sharing, where we can. A few episodes ago, the Jesus Soul actually came in and asked us to send love energy to these messages so that the messages can get out there. And I don't mean so that we can have more subscribers and have more, but that's okay too. And
But
it's so
the
that the
energy of it.
idea, the energy, the knowledge, the information can get out there.
Yeah.
And so I don't know about you, but I'm leaving this one with a lot of energy, a lot of love energy and hope. We learned a lot about hope in the last episode as well. And so I'm going to be sending out little attachments to the hope grid as well. So thank you very much for joining us. And thank you again for all your engagement in the comments. And I love hearing, your personal stories and your takes on what you're seeing as some of you are going through for the third or fourth time binge watching our episodes. So thank you for all of that. We really appreciate you.
Yes.
And hope you have a great day.
Okay. Yes, and thank you. I'm going to hold up this crystal that I just picked up today. It's an amethyst crystal in the shape of a heart, and so I'm going to hold this and send out love with this.
I have a tiny, is it in here? It is not. I have a tiny version of the same thing. Anyway.
And yes, thank you for sharing your love with each other and with us, and for being here with us through this wonderful wild ride journey. Okay.
Thanks, everyone.